Konnichiwa, my name is Tisakura here watching PokeCast. Today's review is going to be on Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li. Now, as I was thinking about this one, I had to go back and read the review I wrote literally right after watching the movie for the first time. And yeah, I know that with the top 5 I just put up, I really dogged this one. Well, it's one of those weird movies that it's a really good movie and it's a really bad movie at the same time. It's one of those that, how can I put it? Well, I guess this is the best way I'm going to explain it. With my first review I have up on comicvine.com, I was talking about how I enjoyed that this is an OVA version of the Chun-Li storyline. They have a lot of good ways of reintroducing us to a character that we have become to know. It's not the first time that somebody's gone through and changed her origin, as we saw in Street Fighter V series, when we actually got to see Chun-Li as a teenager meeting Ken and Ryu for the first time. So it's not the first time we've actually seen this. After rewatching it, I kind of saw that. Yes, I have to admit, I was a little harsh on it within my review, or the top 5 that I think I did. The movie itself, I really enjoyed how they, if Chun-Li had not become a cop and a detective at Interpol, what else could she have become? And in this storyline, it shows her going, joining up with a secret society that is actually there to help protect the people, and she becomes more of a vigilante ninja, basically, of anything, which is also something we have seen previous in some of the other versions, especially, well, I guess in the American cartoon it was a superhuman society to help protect the world. But anyway, when it gets down to it, the movie itself could have been way better than what it was. And yes, I still believe this is the worst Street Fighter movie made, in my opinion, because of the points I'll be going over that really just the reason why it made my top 5. But at least when it comes to the story, I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed how they, showed, okay, what if at this point in time, Gen had left Shadowloo and meets up with Chun-Li and trains her, making her better. I really enjoyed that aspect because it wasn't the first time in a storyline where Gen actually trains one of the fighters, even if it was so slightly, because in Sakura Gambate, I think that's how you pronounce it, she actually fights again to help save Cammy, and by the end, that's when Gen is enlightened by Sakura's spirit and decides to leave Shadowloo. So it's not the first time we have actually seen something like this happen. And I like that they brought in a lot of characters. There's a couple characters that were really, at first, especially with Maya, I was kind of like, okay, she's not connecting. Who is this? Like, oh, okay, that's Viper. All right, so, and I had to read over which character is which to be able to see who is who. Now, looking at that aspect, it was a really, really good movie. The story was, I thought, really nice. Now, the reasons why it actually made my top 5 list of things that just don't obey the source that they had at all was, here's the biggest parts that make this worse than the other Street Fighter movie that actually took the time. Okay, people want to see costumes. People want to see some fights. People want to see... Nobody wanted to see Guile. But anyway, the biggest things was, Chun-Li wasn't a cop. As I said before, that is an aspect of an OVA that we just have to, we have to be willing to go through and see how that works out. Also, Chun-Li's father is also not a cop. Once again, it's not the first time it's happened, but, you know, some people would be kind of grr about that. Now, at least Chun-Li does learn her martial arts style from her father, you know, that right there made it nice. The thing is, Chun-Li gets to kill Bison in the movie. Chun-Li is never strong enough to do that in anything. That is always left to the stronger fighters and Guile to do so. So it was one thing that kind of like, no, she's not allowed to do that. So that was one thing that did kind of irk me about that particular part of the movie, though with how the storyline was going, it had to be done. But still, yeah. The biggest thing is costumes. There was nobody in the right costume. Nobody had their costume. Of course, there's Vega, but pitiful looking mask. The look was not Vega. I mean, just looking at this picture, that's not Vega at all. He's a psychotic prince that, yeah. So that was one thing that really kind of irked me when I saw that. I was like, nah, that's not Vega. Next is Bison. Now the thing about the character that was portrayed, the feel, the essence, that was Bison. The look was not Bison at all. Unfortunately, that role has already been taken in the last Street Fighter movie. That was the best live-action Bison we have seen so far. This Bison is just like this happy-go-lucky grandpa-looking guy who just did not have the look. He was definitely creepy. He had the evilness that Bison had. He had the psychotic version. It was Bison. Just the look was not there. One of the biggest things are, I know they took some, I guess I should say this. The next thing is Rosa. In this movie, instead of it being so happens that Bison's able to put his spirit into her and all that, she's actually his daughter in this movie. A unique twist that was okay. However, when we finally meet Rose, she just has... It doesn't look like anything what she was supposed to be. She's supposed to be this, this person who could also use the forces that Bison could use and be this amazing character when you get to see her in action. Unfortunately, all we see is this little girl is like, oh, hi. Other than that, we did get to see a couple characters that were really nice, that, were played well. It's just, those are the things that I thought would just destroy the movie when you really get down to it. They had so much source code to go through and help make the movie even better, but they didn't want to use it. They wanted to make it into a real life version. Like, okay, well, if Bison is this crazed overlord, he's going to be like a Yakuza boss who would wear a shirt and tie. Though, when a Yakuza boss were to go to a fight, he would wear his ceremonial garments when it came, when it became an honorable fight. Bison never had that. There's a few parts also, like when you finally see Chun-Li's famous roundhouse, spinning kick, everything, they ruined that too. So, yeah, I have to admit, I was a little harsh when I was doing the thing. I guess I was just in that groove about making fun of it. But still, there's a lot of things in the movie that could have been better if they had at least used a lot of this, used some of the stuff that was already there for them. It was cool that we got to see Charlie in there. It was cool that we got to see Maya in there. It's cool that we got to see a really well done Balrog, even though he didn't have his costume or anything. But just things like that could make a movie better. I don't understand why they made this movie and dropped everything that could have made it better. It does destroy the movie at that point. Other than that, if you're willing to look at it as a unique OVA storyline that has, you know, some really good story aspects to it, it's a good movie to watch. Just don't expect it to be a good Street Fighter movie about Chun-Li. Drop that, it's good. Don't drop it, it will probably, you're going to be like, what am I watching? Because of that. And after watching it again, yeah, there was a lot of parts to where I'm just sitting there feeling the same way, but it's still, I was really intrigued by the story, and that's what made the movie at least worth watching. So this is my review for Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, where I'm still a little complexed on how I feel about the movie, just because the story still intrigues me. Just a lot of things could have been better. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is T. Scudder saying ciao and sayonara.